What's up everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to prepare enough protein for a week's worth of salads in under an hour. And so if this was the summertime, I would probably be doing most of this preparation out on the grill, but because it's January, I'm going to be doing this all inside my kitchen. And so I'm going to be doing chicken breasts inside my oven, baking them. I'm going to be doing steaks on a stovetop cast iron. I'm going to be doing chicken thighs in my air fryer, just to show some variety of ways to cook chicken. I'm going to be doing bacon also in the oven, and I'm going to be doing some hard-boiled eggs also on the stovetop. And so let's get started with our chicken breasts. And now the secret to juicy chicken breasts in the oven is to brine them ahead of time if you have time. And so I'm going to do that. It's an extra step, but it's well worth it. And so to brine them, I'm just going to take a couple cups of hot or boiling water. I've got water boiling on the stove. I'm going to put that in a bowl. And I'm just going to dissolve a third of a cup of salt. And then once the salt's all dissolved, I'm just going to pour in some ice just so I don't poach my chicken. And then I'm going to just put my chicken breasts in the solution. All right, and so I'm gonna let those sit there for 20 to 30 minutes. While that is happening, I'm gonna preheat my oven for 400 degrees. And then I'm going to prep my bacon. As I said, I'm gonna cook it in the oven. So what I've done is just laid it out on a sheet pan. I've put some parchment paper on top just for easy cleanup. And I've laid it out there, laid it out flat. This is ready to go in the oven once the oven's hot. Chicken thighs I'm going to cook in my air fryer. This is something I've been doing recently. It's a super easy way just to cook chicken. I do it for my kids all the time. Basically all I'm gonna do is season with some salt and pepper. Nothing fancy. And then I'm just going to throw them in my air fryer basket because chicken thighs are already kind of fatty. You don't really need to spray them down as they cook. They'll give off enough chicken fat grease on their own, so you don't really need to spray down the fryer. And I'm just going to pop it in there for 25 minutes at 400 degrees. All right, so my chicken thighs are going. What else? My steaks I can season. I want to make sure I do take them out of the fridge before I cook them, let them come to room temperature, and then I'm just going to season them with some coarse salt, both sides. And then if you want, you can also season with some black pepper. Some people just like salt. I like a little bit of black pepper. And so my steaks are seasoned and ready to go. All right, at this point, my oven is preheated so I can stick my bacon in the oven. I'm gonna cook it for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, I'm gonna check on it, see if I need to cook it any longer. Next, I'm gonna do my hard-boiled eggs. I'm just going to do the whole dozen. I mean, I probably won't eat all dozen myself, but maybe my family will. I'm gonna cover them with about 2 inches of cold water. And then I'm just going to put this on my stovetop and I'm going to bring it to a boil. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of baking soda. All right, once my water is boiling, I'm going to turn off the heat and I'm going to cover my pot and I'm going to let that sit for like 6 to 10 minutes depending on how hard I want my yolks to be. Next, I'm going to check my bacon. And that is looking good to me. I'm gonna take it out of the oven, nice and crispy, how I like it. And so I'm just going to transfer the bacon to my plate. Once my bacon has cooled down for a bit, I am actually going to chop it up. And I'm going to store that in just a glass dish that I can keep in the fridge. So my bacon is ready to go. All right, my eggs have been cooking long enough. I'm just gonna drain out the water and then I'm just going to move them into a bowl of ice water. This is gonna make them a little bit easier to peel down the road. So my eggs are ready to go. Those are all done. My chicken has now been brining long enough, so that's gonna be ready to prepare for the oven. If I brined it, I don't need to salt it again. You could add some additional seasoning if you want. I'm just gonna add some black pepper and that's it. Just keep it simple. I'm just gonna spray it down with some avocado oil spray. Both sides. Place them on a small sheet pan. I've lined mine with some parchment paper just for easy cleanup. And I'm gonna cook these in my oven for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna use a meat thermometer, and what I'm going for is like a internal temperature of 165. So pop those in there. And so while those chicken breasts cook, all I have left to do is to cook my steaks in my cast iron. I'm just going to heat this up until it is very hot, until it's just about smoking. I've got my steaks here. I'm actually gonna give these a quick spray down with some avocado oil spray. All right, once my cast iron is nice and hot, I'm gonna throw my steaks in there. Now, I'm not going to touch my steaks for a few minutes. I'm gonna be going for medium rare, which is gonna be an internal temperature of 135 degrees, somewhere in that zone. But it's good to use a meat thermometer with steaks just to make sure the inside is gonna be perfect. After 2 to 3 minutes, I'm just gonna rotate my steaks about 45 degrees. I'm not gonna flip them yet, but I am gonna rotate them in the pan. And then 2 to 3 minutes after that, I'm going to flip them. That's looking good. 2 to 3 minutes after this, I'm gonna rotate them a little bit, about 45 degrees. And then 8 to 10 minutes total should be enough usually for steak. I'm gonna use my meat thermometer to check the temperature. And that's getting to 135, and so I am going to get a plate. And I'm gonna remove my steaks from my pan. And so with my steaks done, now all I've got to do is wait for my chicken breast to finish cooking. During all the commotion, my chicken thighs in the air fryer finished cooking. And you'll see they are nice and sort of crunchy on the outside, but it's still gonna be nice and juicy on the inside. I'm just going to cut these up, my chicken thighs, to use for salads later on. So there's my chicken thigh meat ready to go for a salad. I'm gonna go check my chicken breasts. Again, I'm going for an internal temperature of 165 degrees. Those look good. I'm going to take those out. And so here's one of my juicy chicken breasts. I usually wait until I'm gonna actually make my salad to cut up my chicken breast or my steak, but if you did just wanna save yourself some time down the road, just have it ready to go for convenience, you could cut it up at this point, slice it into thin pieces. Look at that, nice and moist, juicy, tender chicken breast. I'm just going to put that in a glass container to store in the fridge for later. And there you go. We got plenty of protein for a week's worth of salad, probably 2 salads a day with this much protein. You got 2 steaks, 2 chicken breasts, bacon, chicken thighs, a whole dozen eggs, plus our sardine and cans of tuna. We are ready to rock and roll for a week's worth of salad. Thank you for watching.